Welcome back to SnowRunner, and today we're going to be checking out one of the most deeply detailed vehicles that I think I've ever seen, and I think that this game has ever seen. Now, this is the RNG HMV A2. Now, this was a made-from-scratch vehicle, which comes with a fully functioning interior, and it really is on the level of, you would almost feel like it's not just on the level of a vehicle that could have come in the game from the beginning, but it's a vehicle that basically exceeds the level of detail of a vehicle that would come in the game from the beginning. Now, in this video, I'm going to explore as many aspects of this truck's capabilities as I can. However, I strongly encourage you to, pick it up, download it, drive it yourselves, use it in your campaigns, because it really is a truly incredible vehicle. Now, let's fire it up, take it into the garage, and see what all the customization options are. Let's go ahead and go into the interior view as well. Dude. Working gauges, an entirely modeled dash, an interior. Now, granted, it's a little bit of a simplistic interior because that's what these vehicles would have in real life, but look at the details. I mean, you can even see the texture on the seats. Like, the actual, slightly uneven texture that the seats would have in real life, it's here in this vehicle. It's all there. Now, right into the customization, we begin with the CTA C7 TD 370 BHP. Now, that's going to be your first engine. Now, it's an inline-6 turbo diesel, and then you could also upgrade to a 420 horsepower inline-6 turbo diesel, which you're going to run either an A or an A+ power to weight rating. No S+ is available, so we're going to go with the 420 horsepower version. Now, gearbox-wise, we have a 6-speed automatic. We have a 4-speed automatic with off-road mode. Then we have a 4-speed Pro automatic with off-road mode. Now, the Pro, I am assuming that's going to mean it's got a variable low range, which we're going to go ahead and throw that in there. And suspension-wise, we have two options. You got stock and you got raised. Raised looks like it's probably, in realistic terms, we'd be talking probably 3 to 4 inches higher than this suspension. I would maybe 6. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll go with that. Now, you get one tire option, and that's a 51. Well, the tire size option is a 51. You have the RNG TX tire, and you have a RNG HMV tire. Now, let's see. I'm curious as to what the actual performance differences are between these tires, and he doesn't exactly, highlight them right here, so I think it's going to be one of those things where we're going to have to drive it and find out. And as far as winches go, we're going to go with the offline winch, and spare wheel-wise, we have an option of having one up there, which comes by default. Then we also have the other one, the RNG TX tire, which you can swap out. Now, we have a couple of different options here in diff lock. We have engageable. We also have military class shafts. Now, I'm assuming that that's just an option that allows the diff locks to work, but let's see what we can do in terms of snorkels. We have one option, and you can take it off. Well, actually, you can't take it off. It is just there. Now, you have a log carrier front, should you want to use this thing for logging. It's very multi-purpose, which I really like. Then you have a flatbed. Then you have a sideboard, which it's a 2-slot, and that's what it comes with by default. Then you have a saddle high and saddle low, should you want to haul semi-trailers with this truck. Now, I think for this particular variant, I would like to see how it does with log hauling, but we might do that with a future build. And what I'll probably do is I'll spawn in, through the dev tools, I'll spawn in another one of these, and we'll equip it more for trailer towing. Now, visuals-wise, we have a default exhaust. Oh, that's the only option. And we have the HMV wheel, and that's, again, the only option for that. However, you do have a pretty good set of color options here. You can pretty much paint this thing whatever color you would like, and he's done a really good job at matching the colors to the way the vehicle really should look. They all look ever so slightly weathered. They all look like they have a little bit of a kind of an air of machinery paint as opposed to standard car paint, which I like. I really, really like that. Now, I think for this one, we're going to leave the default color on it, and I will absolutely be putting beans on the dash, because why wouldn't I put beans on the dash? I'm just glad that he has that as an option. Now, let's leave the garage real quick, and we'll fire it up. Now, as far as trailer towing options go, obviously this one is not going to be able to tow the semi-trailers because we obviously did not install the saddle high or low for those, but I'm going to actually turn it around real quick and back it up into, oh, there we go. back it up into the trailer store so we can get a little bit of a general idea of, oh, it's actually got the option to tow Red's goosenecks as well. That's really, really cool. So obviously you have your generator trailers, your, your standard pull behinds, you have the log carrier rear if you also do the log carrier front. And, it really does give you about every single option for kind of a I say mid-range truck. When I say mid-range, I mean mid-range kind of in the scheme of SnowRunner, not in the scheme of like, general trucks, because I feel like in the general scheme of trucks, this is definitely going to be a heavy-duty truck, but in the general range of SnowRunner, I mean, I think it's a really good middle-of-the-road option that you could use for everything from scouting to light-duty hauling to support if you have the right trailer to heavy hauling if you install, like saddle high or saddle low. Now, let's go ahead and stop you right there for just a second. I'm actually going to spawn in another one, and I'm going to leave it back here by the garage. Now, let's see. RNG HMV A2. We're going to spin that guy around, and we're going to leave him back there. And now we're going to go back to the other one, and the reason why we're going to do that is so that once we are done with a couple of tests with this one, we're going to switch back to the other one and use the dev tools to install a saddle high and see how it tows. It already has a very, again, Ranger is very good about giving these trucks that he builds a very vanilla plus feel. When I say vanilla plus, I mean that they drive and feel like a original truck from the base game. However, they give you just a tiny bit more, like an ever so slight bit more capability, which I really like. But if you want to take away that extra capability and have a genuinely vanilla feel, you can back it back down to the starter engine, which will take away a lot of power, but some players actually like that. So let's go ahead and bring this guy up the... Oh, wow, dude! Yo, with the top engine, it was able to do that in high, and that's not something that I was expecting it to do with a power-to-weight rating of A+, especially loaded down with cargo. I also find it to be very stable, even on the lifted suspension, which is, again, not exactly the most normal thing out of a truck like this, but... And actually, the articulation isn't bad either. Now, granted, it's not going to have crawler-level articulation, but it's going to have better articulation than, say, a base game truck for sure. Now, I'm going to take this thing out of its element real quick. We're going to take it into a actual, rock obstacle. And, yep, that's about what I figured would happen. Wheelbase problems. But again, that's not, that's not any kind of criticism of this vehicle. That's just me kind of trying to figure out how far I could push this thing in terms of rock obstacles. And I figured it was going to get, well, there's a notch right here. I mean, we have another one anyway, so we might as well, give it a try just to see how much trouble it will actually let us get ourselves into. Easy. I don't know if we're going any further, bud. I don't know if there's any more grip for it to find. Yeah, I don't think there's any more grip for it to find. Can it back out? Yes, it can. Okay, so luckily it can back out of something like that. I'm glad it could back out of something like that. But, I mean, it actually went further into that, rock notch than I thought it was going to go. Quick repair and refuel as we head for the mud pit. Now, once we head for the mud pit, we're going to actually, leave this thing down here after we drive it through the mud pit and then build a trailer towing one. Oh, dude, that's so stable. That, the center of gravity on this thing is so well-tuned. I mean, it really is incredibly well-tuned. All right, let's put you in the mud and see how you do. Shallow mud first, high range. Keep in mind, this is the Off-Road Pro transmission, so it would probably have more wheel speed if we did this with the highway transmission, but I don't really feel like a lot of people are going to run this thing with the highway transmission, although, if you're on a map with a lot of open road, that is what I would suggest running, is the highway, not necessarily the off-road, but, bro, doesn't even have the lockers on. I mean, this is the medium depth mud now, and it's just eating it up. All right, slightly deeper stuff now. This is a little bit deeper, a little bit thicker. And it's still, I mean, it's definitely slowed down quite a bit, but it's still moving. Bro, that's actually, genuinely impressive. And, oh, it's about to sink. It's about to stop. Low range lockers on. Bump the wheel speed up a little bit. The nice thing about it is that, yes, it does feel like a genuine challenge to get through mud like this, but it doesn't feel impossible. It doesn't feel like, oh my god, the second I take it near any kind of deeper mud, I'm going to be beached immediately. No, like, you'll slow down quite a bit, and it'll give you that realistic feel, but you never feel like, you know, you never feel like in a, you know, in an obstacle like that, it never feels like hopeless. You know what I mean? It never feels like, oh man, I'm gonna have to go get a rescue truck now and it's gonna be a big ordeal. It's actually like really, really capable. So let's swap over now to this other HMV A2 and we're going to do a little bit of a quick build on it. I'm gonna do the Pro transmission, engine 1, offline winch, and we are going to do, wait a second, where is, okay, sideboard bed, saddle high is gonna go on the thing, and I'm gonna do high suspension and TX tires. Now, this is a little bit of an odd combination, but I do want to see what it actually is like. And I think that it might still be really good, but I'm going to take it through some really gnarly obstacles, even with a trailer behind it, so it might give up, but it also might not. We'll see. What kind of trailer should we throw behind it? Should it be a 5-unit or an 8-unit? An 8-unit Mega Boy? I mean, it looks really good, though, with the 5. The 5 looks like it was meant to be there. The 8-unit would be cool. It would be, like, fun and over the top. But that 5-unit just looks like it was meant to be there, man. All right, oil barrels, stage 2 fuel tanks. What should we throw on there? Slabs? I want something a little bit more dramatic looking than slabs. Drilling equipment and bricks. That's like a standard, you know, a standard-ish load combination that you might carry in the campaign. And I've got to tell you, at least on flat ground, pulled away no problem at all. Absolutely no problem at all. Turning wide, but, I mean, hey, always on all-wheel drive handles that no problem. Bro, this thing moves. I mean, it really, like, it scoots on its way out. Now, taking it through this mud obstacle, this is going to be a true challenge for it. It's a true challenge for most trucks. I don't know if it'll be a true challenge for this, but it's a true challenge for most trucks. So we're about to find out if it's a worthy challenge for this beast or not. That's high! Oh my god! And, okay, there, found the stall point. I figured we'd find the stall point eventually, but it got so much further than I thought it was going to. In fact, I thought it was going to dig, but it didn't even want to. It didn't even remotely suggest the idea that it was going to dig. Wow, I am very impressed with this thing's towing capability, especially in slick surfaces like deep mud. That is insanely respectable, and that capability is like, that's like not to be messed with. I mean, this thing could knock out some campaign missions, especially hauling missions, in no time at all. Although I do have to say, I would recommend using it with a wide trailer like this, because a wider trailer is going to be less easy to roll over, and so I really think that this trailer is definitely pretty well matched to this vehicle's capabilities. That is so good. I cannot get over how incredibly good that is. Wow. I wonder if it can make it up over the top of this hill without high centering itself. Let's find out. Interesting horn choice, I gotta say. Come on. Almost there, almost there, almost there, almost there, and... Ooh! Oh, no! Yep, wow, okay. We actually really messed that up. I mean, that's a lot more high-centered than I thought we could ever get. The front suspension is at full droop. The rear is not on the ground. That's a scenario. And the winch isn't long enough to do anything. Okay, all right. Well, good news for us is that we have another RNG HMV A2 nearby that we can use for a quick rescue. So I'm going to bring this guy over there, get a quick rescue done, and then I think we're going to throw both off the bridge jump, just because, like, literally, we have both. We might as well. It would be hilarious. I am not going to back up that hill, so I'm just going to, like... I'm just going to pull straight forward up to where that other HMV A2 is. Well, actually, I just realized, though, that it will auto-winch me in reverse. So I'm going to have to back it up. Oh, God. Reverse is so slow. Isn't it, Beans? Yeah, he agrees. Oh, boy. Now, I don't know how close I'm going to have to get to actually use the winch, but it's probably going to be pretty close because the offline winch on this thing is, let's say, a bit short. It's very short. Now, granted, I get it, he was going for, like, a realistic length, but, man, it's not the longest winch in the world, that's for sure. Okay, well, actually, that's a bit longer than I thought it would be. Lockers on, let's go. Can we do it? Come on. That thing is, like... It's trying to put its power down as well. I got my lockers on. Ultra low. That's as low as my gear ratios will go. And, she ain't going anywhere. Oh, yes she is. Come on, let's get it. Oh, there it is. Dude, that was so good. All right. Now, I'm going to encourage you to come with me. And, we're going to make our way up to the bridge jump. Now, it's a little bit of an interesting train we got going on here, and I feel like I will swap the transmissions out in both of these for the highways before we do the bridge jump, just so we can build up as much speed as humanly possible. Now, these were not designed to jump whatsoever, but since we have proven at this point that these things are absolutely next level, top notch in terms of like objective-based gameplay, I feel like there's no harm in throwing them into a bit of an interesting situation, let's say. Also, why am I going around the long way when I could just go over here and connect to the main road and then get right to the bridge jump? Why would I do that? That was a very odd, like, decision on my part. Let's not make that odd decision again. Excuse me, barrier. Oh, God. Ooh. Keep the crate away from or the container away from the trees, please. Thank you. I love how, like, they just kind of float over those big potholes and stuff like that. Those aren't potholes, they're pits. But, like, this thing just floats over them like they're not even there. Never even, like, needed to come out of high. It was just like, yeah, we're good, we're fine. And I think that's the biggest thing that, like, I keep, you know, to me, that's the point that this thing keeps driving home, is the fact that it is just so calm and collected in just about every kind of off-road scenario that you're going to deal with in SnowRunner. Now, it's not any kind of, like, rock crawler, obviously, but as far as a mod goes that was built to function very well within the vanilla framework of the game, this is, I mean, you're talking about, like, some real top-tier stuff in terms of drivability, playability, detail, graphical attention to detail. It's pretty much all there in terms of a vanilla game plus style mod. It really is amazing and top-notch work. It especially, like, absolutely top-notch work. All right. Now, we're not going to send these both at the same time. It's going to be a one-at-a-time type ordeal, so let's see. Oh, well, you know what? I realize that it's probably going to go better if I just let these gravity drop anyway instead of go into the highway transmission. They're probably going to be faster and neutral anyway, so boing! Oh, that's a... You know what's funny? Is that it landed directly on its nose and didn't end up with any damage at all until it hit the barrels. It's pretty gnarly. All right, your turn, bud. This is the one I'm a little worried about. Because I don't know if it's actually even going to make it all the way off of the bridge. But also at the same time, I'm like, I mean, you got so much weight behind you. So much weight that, like, it should go even faster in the grand scheme of things. Oh, boy, here we go. Let's get it. Boink. Hey, I mean, we knocked his cargo over, but we kept ours. Actually, we kept both the container and the bricks. And I gotta tell you, that, you want to talk about something very respectable? That right there is insanely respectable. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I will see y'all next time. Talk to y'all later.